What's up, mortgage coach community? Dave Savage here. Hey, Bob, why don't we, before I introduce you, why don't you stop sharing your desktop just so we can see Bob Brandt, the man, the myth. Bob, say hi to the mortgage coach community.
Hi, mortgage coach. Great to be with you this afternoon. Thanks for having me, Dave. I love the partnership and love to talk to you today about OB MMI.
Yep. So guys, we're going to talk about OB MMI. That stands for Optimal Blues Mortgage Market Index. Bob, before we get into what it is and why you guys created it, just let everybody know who you are and what your role is at Optimal Blue.
Yeah, you bet. My name is Bob Brandt, and I'm in charge of marketing and our Alliance program at Optimal Blue, and that includes, of course, our very lengthy and long-term relationship with Mortgage Coach. We've had an outstanding relationship over many, many years and have some really innovative integrations that we're here to talk to you about today.
Yeah, we've got something new. We have announced this. This isn't brand new, but it's been in the product now for a couple months in our Mortgage Coach platform. For anyone, I mean, I think most people know who Optimal Blue is, but how many mortgages are going through the platform and what percentage of home loans are going through Optimal Blue? What's a guess?
Yeah, it's been something, Dave. The activity has really taken off since the beginning of the year. Literally since January. When January volume hit, it set a record at Optimal Blue, and it was the second highest level of lock volume that we saw in any period, any month in our history. That was eclipsed again in February and once more in March. And the March activity was the highest level of lock volume ever at $185 billion in lock volume. Well, that's continued, and the rate environment has stuck. In fact, it's dropped multiple times. In fact, in the month of July, there's been 3 new all-time lows of mortgage rates, so it's led to even more lock volume. So all said, our 1,000 Optimal Blue clients are generating about 40% of all the mortgages that are closed in the industry today. About 40% of them are locked by these lenders on our platform. So it's pretty astounding volume, and it should be well north of $2 trillion of lock activity this year.
So guys, significant platform. I always like to say, hey, there's things that are out there like this information, you can find it on their website, but how you use that information, how you understand the information is how you turn things into a competitive advantage. And my goal as CEO of Mortgage Coach is that every loan officer that is a member of our platform has a competitive advantage. They're smarter than other loan officers, and they know how to present data smarter, more personalized, more localized than anybody else. So first of all, why don't we start with why did you guys create this index? Because it's a pretty big project, and you guys did a really incredible job. So what was the Optimal Blue?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually, Dave, a series of indices. It's, I believe, 16, if I'm correct, 16 indices that we've created. And the reason for us doing it was we sat on so much volume that was occurring in the industry, and the data that was out there regarding what are mortgage rates today varied considerably. We have lots of providers that have indices, rate indices that are calculated each and every week. Very few were daily indices. We had many rate inquiries or indices that were based on survey data. So many of the larger providers of rate information were survey data providers, which essentially means that the rates were surveyed from actual lenders, but they weren't actual rates. They were estimated rates. And then what we are also finding is the granularity was not all that strong. So anyone that was trying to make sense of what rates are right now, and specifically what rates look like for me, the lender, or for my borrower in their scenario, it was a hard time to figure that all out. So we had this information. We thought it would be a wonderful service to the industry to provide it back to the industry and to consumers. And it's really taken off.
Yeah, no, well, it's fantastic. I mean, previously, when a loan officer is talking to a consumer, consumers are looking at bank rate, they're looking at Zillow, they're looking at online ads, and they're saying that's what rates are at. And so previously, lenders they knew what the consumer told them, and they knew what their rates were at, but they didn't really know what rates were being locked in at. And so guys, now you have an index where the platform that's doing 40% of the mortgages in America, they have an index. So you have something in between. And so what I want to do now, guys, is I want to talk about how do you turn that into a competitive advantage. So Bob, why don't you do a little bit more definition of it? I know you've got your webpage pulled up. We're going to talk and go through the Optimal Blue webpage because that's how Bob presents it. And then I'm going to show Mortgage Coach and show how we've integrated it.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, I mean, I'll bring it up in a second here, but you raised a good point at the beginning of the session here about loan officers turning these tools and this information like this into competitive advantages for themselves. And you're exactly right on, Dave. With OBMMI, many times what we hear and see with our Optimal Blue loan officer clients is, up until recently, up until OBMMI was available, they were never quite sure if their pricing was on market or not. They never knew if they were priced too high for a certain type of borrower or not. Well, now the data is available. It's available to the secondary marketing team that sets pricing. It's available to the loan officer users. So these individuals can understand exactly, what the rate is in a specific market or geographic area. And not to mention that, but also based on some of the drivers of pricing like loan-to-value ratios and FICO scores. So anyway, in fact, what I'll do here is I'll bring it up so you can see it.
So anybody that's watching this live in our Facebook group, if you have a question for me or Bob, put it in chat. If you're watching the recording of this, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, and you have questions, put them down below and either one of us will answer them or we'll make sure someone on our team does. All right, so what are we looking at here?
Yeah, so here's OBMMI, the tool that's available on our website. Now, as Dave alluded to, and he'll show it in a minute, this tool is also available in widget form to technology providers. Mortgage Coach was one of the very first to build this into their UI. So at any rate, here's how it works. So the site is optimalblue.com/OBMMI. It's linked right to our menu here under Data and Mortgage Market Indices. So here we're seeing the rates as of yesterday accumulated from all mortgage rate locks across the country, and it's averaged out. So this particular view is not broken out by geographic area whatsoever. It's just a national average for the most popular products applied for on Optimal Blue. So as you can see, we're up just a hint over a record low, which actually stood for 2 days strong. And you can see how that's trended over time. So what I'm showing here on this chart, if I scroll up just a smidgen so you can see everything, you're able to choose what products you want to look at. So I've highlighted the 30-year conforming, a 30-year jumbo, and an FHA. Well, let's say we just wanted to look at maybe the 15-year and the 30-year for comparison. Oh, and in fact, I want to look at when I'm above 80, and when I'm below 80, I want to choose different FICO scores. So you can start to see kind of the high and low watermark of what rates look like when you start to select some of these other categories, either a high FICO and a low LTV or vice versa. So it's a very interactive charting system. It also allows you to zoom in specifically on certain ranges, like the 1 month view, the 3 month view, or a custom view. So that's what we're trying to show here, Dave, is just the impact of credit and LTV on the rates, and you're able to see that clearly. If I scroll down, you're also seeing that illustrated in a slightly different way on this chart. So you can see how the rates vary based on FICO and LTV across all of these different options. So that's in essence, Dave, what we have in OBMMI. The cool thing is this is available in widget form. It's available on our site, and it's also available in an API. And the API was just made available and integrated with NASDAQ's Global Index Data Service. And so now all the financial planners and users of that are customers of the NASDAQ GIDS product have immediate access to these indices as well. So it's kind of a very fun, we were on the tower last week and able to kind of see our OBMMI highlighted on the tower in Times Square, which was really fun. But the cooler part is that it's now available lifetime through NASDAQ GIDS.
Love that. So guys, it's an index you can put in your stock trader. And what I'd like to do now is I'd like to show what it looks like in Mortgage Coach. Mortgage Coach community, I would love to hear from more loan officers that are using this in the sales experience. When you're having conversations with borrowers and realtors, when and how are you using it? I've heard a lot of feedback on when and how different people are using it. So let me walk you through some of those best practices. So right now you are looking at our advice engine. So if I was just looking at it, I just logged in, I've got the home screen, it's right here. Now, to get to the MMI data, you need to go into a client, but no matter where you're at within that client, it's this right-hand tab. And a couple things I love about it is it not only shows rates at different programs, it shows rates at different credit scores. That's, never seen that before, and never seen it in a simple, easy to view way like this. It's showing different trends all built into the app. You know, notice that if I drag my mouse over in the optimal index, it will define it. So for those of you that are like, wait, what is this thing? It's right here. And of course, if you really want to drill down on it, you click and you could go to the Optimal Blue website and go to data and look at it in more detail. They've got a really good white paper on it. The other thing that we've done at Mortgage Coach is we've integrated it into the mobile app so that if you are on your mobile phone, and I'm going to pull it up real quick, just give you a quick glance of it on my phone. So hang on. There it is. Oh, all right, I'm going to share it one more time. The app just landed right in the middle of my share button. And can you see it? By the way, am I sharing my screen?
Coming up now, Dave. Yep, there it is.
All right. So there it is on the mobile device. And the thing I want to call out here is it's really easy to share it. So from the mobile phone, you can look at the view that you want to forward to the client, and you can click a share button where you can email it to the client. You can text it to the client. You can add it as an image directly into Facebook. And I'm hearing a lot of people love this clip feature because now I can clip it and I can add it to an email. I can add it to a text. I have it, just paste it. Anything you want, you can paste it. So I think when it comes to turning tech into a competitive advantage, it's all about where are you putting that technology? Is that technology in the right place at the right time? And is it shareable, where you can share it to the client at the right time in the conversation? Anything you want to add to that, Bob?
No, you guys have done a beautiful job integrating this into your system. It's really something. But you know, just to reiterate, there's three things that make this data really different than anything else that's out there. You know, number one, it's transacted rate information as opposed to surveyed rate information. So that's a really important difference because this is really what the borrower is locking in on the Optimal Blue system. And it's by 1,000 clients that are utilizing that functionality. That's what this data is based on, not just 1 or 2 or 10 or even 100. It's a huge group of users across the country. Number two, it's daily. So a lot of times the rate information gets stale very quickly, especially in the market we're in now. I mean, just in a week's time, we hit multiple record lows. So that's very different than a lot of the rate information. And then last, is the granularity. It's what Dave was alluding to. The ability to show the rates by FICO or by LTV is very different, and not anything that I've seen out there where other rate indices can show you what rates look like based on risk adjustments or LLPAs.
Yeah, I love it. And they also, if you're looking at Rate Watch, while we have the general market data, we have the day watch where you can break it down, what's happening today. This is actually just about a half hour before the call. You can click on the index. They also will just give you a pulse check. What percentage of the lenders have done midday rate changes? So guys, we have an unprecedented amount of access to it. And then for those of you that are fortunate enough to have Optimal Blue as your pricing engine and you use Mortgage Coach, we're helping you go from product to pricing to presentation. So we've turned the PPE engine into 3 Ps: product, pricing, and presentation. So you go from, I'm submitting the loan, what's today's price? Now I want to present this to a family, click a couple of options, click the Mortgage Coach button, and now I can, remember guys, the right information displayed personalized. I can personalize this for the client based off of their solutions. And now they're getting graphs, they're getting charts, they're getting different loan options compared. They're looking at those options over time. And it's a link. Everything is a link or an image that you can share. So just like you're watching this on Zoom, you're watching this from a link on YouTube, from a link on Facebook, you're able to send that family a link to their custom options integrated into Optimal Blue. And then just a reminder, guys, make sure you're using that live feature in today's market. It's a virtual world. You could be on a phone with a client, and whatever you click on Mortgage Coach, it moves for the family. So they're just having this guided tour of their product, their price in a presentation format. So Bob, I love our partnership. I appreciate you taking time to come and provide your leadership. Anything else we've missed? Anything else you think we should share that we haven't said yet?
No, I think you did a good job. I mean, the really cool thing I just want to add to Dave's comments about the partnership, there's some companies that we work with that, do some pretty neat innovations, but the Mortgage Coach team has taken that to a new level. Their innovation train is at full speed ahead. We're doing more work with them lately on the technical side than we are with many other partners. And I just love where things are going. The fact that the Mortgage Coach button is inside the Optimal Blue OB hopefully speaks volumes as to what our company thinks of this organization and our overall our partnership with them. So thanks, Dave, for having me and giving me time to speak about OB MMI. And thank you, Mortgage Coach group. I'd love getting in front of you. So hopefully this is the first of many.
So closing thoughts for you guys. Our goal is to help you serve a family at such a high level that it's a competitive advantage. So I do believe this data, remember what he said, it's not survey data. It's not what a lender's quoting online. This is actually what is being locked. How are you going to turn this data into a competitive advantage? So please share in our Facebook group what you're doing, when you're doing it. I would love to see examples. I've seen a lot of people taking our TCA and sharing it on social media. So thank you for those of you that do that. I'd like to see how you're sharing this on social media, what you're doing and how you're doing it. So have a great day, guys. If you have questions, put them down below. If you got value, give us a like. And this call is a wrap. Thank you so much, Bob.
Thank you. Thanks, Dave. Thank you all.